Hello, everyone. This is Dennis Langlais with the 5 Minute Bark podcast. All right, we're here today on the 5 Minute Bark, and we've got a great guest for you guys here today. And I'm going to learn a lot about Josh because we didn't really have too much time to talk before the show, but we're going to be talking during the show. As you all know, on the 5 Minute Bark, everything is done here live. There's no making up a story. We're going to be just doing it here today. So we've got Josh Trent from the Wellness Force Radio. And Josh, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on, Dennis. This is going to be fun.
This is fun. As we were talking before, we had some difficulties trying to get it scheduled like 4 or 5 times, and now here we are. So we're pretty excited. We're both podcasters. We're both very, very into wellness and being our inner being as much as we possibly can. And we're hopefully going to be going really deep with that here today. So at first, Josh, tell everybody a story about yourself and how you became Josh Trent.
That's a loaded question, right?
Yeah, right.
We discussed a little bit one of the times we hung out, and it starts when we're a kid for all of us, right? I mean, everything that we learn is our beliefs. So what shaped me into being a trainer was these beliefs that I had picked up from my parents. So my mom was manic bipolar. My dad was just working on his own stuff. He never got some things delivered by his dad. So he was psychologically and physiologically absent for most of my life. And I needed a way to cope at that time. And if anyone listening can resonate with the message of like not knowing what to do at a young age and trying to just find a way to feel calm and feel okay, well, that's what I did with food. So I had this food basically addiction when I was young, and I would use food as a way to check out and not feel those feelings in my chest that I didn't want to feel. Which led me to continuing on this road towards weight gain. So big surprise, by the time I'm 22 years old, I'm 280 pounds.
Wow.
And really just uncomfortable in my body, man.
I never imagined that.
Yeah, you should go to my site. There's before and after pictures. It's crazy. But anyways, what led me into being a wellness professional, a fitness professional, is I became so frustrated in my body, Dennis, like how I felt,
right,
that I just wanted a change of scenery. I still carried those beliefs that I formulated when I was a child, and those beliefs kind of went like this: people can't be trusted, money causes pain, and expect the worst to happen. Right. So those were some beliefs that I just carried with me. And with all this pressure and not having the psychological skill set to lead a healthy lifestyle, I just left. So I'm 22, 23 years old in Hawaii. I'm working out at a gym in Hawaii. This fitness manager comes up to me and says, I've watched you work out, because I had fairly good lifting form. I did football in high school and whatnot.
Yep.
And he said, you should be a personal trainer. And I was like, what's a personal trainer? I didn't even know what a personal trainer was. So that's what launched me into fitness. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is beautiful. It's a road I'm on myself. I had gone through a lot of weight loss up and down before that prior, and I just wanted a way to feel good in my body, to feel healthy in my body. And that led me to training. So for the next 8 years, I was a trainer, but I started to notice that people weren't getting results. And it's because fitness is a great catalyst for change, but it's not a holistic approach. And that's what led me more in the direction of wellness and the digital health coaching programs that I'm doing now.
That is awesome. God, there's so much to talk about here already. I can just hear it. It's just so amazing how in life we're always trying to be better, and it's everything's being redefined and into a tighter and tighter and tighter niche. And like you said, taking it from being a personal trainer, now you're just like, I'm going to take it to another level, and somebody after you is going to take it to another level and another level. We're just refining and defining. Even to this day, I mean, you go a doctor 20 years ago with just one doctor, and now you have 20 different doctors just in ear and just in eye and just in face. And now we're just doing that with our well-being. Like we're having coach upon consultants all the way through to make us better people. And it's really exciting that you're getting involved in that, for one, and two, that this is happening because we're becoming better human beings, and me, I'm more excited about life. So I just want to bring that up. But tell us more about the Wellness Force, and because we've kind of talked a little bit, and we've always kind of been in a situation where we're out one door and in the other door. So tell my audience and me about Wellness for a little more.
Well,
this is your 5-second pitch.
Everyone in their life is born with health. Health is a birthright. So everyone's born with wellness inside of them. What happens is life gets in the way. So it clouds this window of something that's inside of us, a force that's already inside of us.
Right.
So everyone's born with this wellness force. And what I want to do with the podcast is bring on people that are behavior change experts. So we deal with behavior change and wellness technology. Wellness technology meaning different devices and applications that can transform people towards better health. So wellness force is something that we all have. And on the show, I try to talk about things that really move the needle for people. because I'm struggling with those even now as a coach, as a digital health coach, as a podcaster. There's no end to the work that we do. There's no finish line.
No.
So just when you think you've gotten through one race, well, another one's going to start. And that's really what I want to do in the podcast, is give people a resource, a trusted resource, where they can get valuable tools and knowledge from people in the field that are just absolutely crushing it. People that are, doing the best possible things for others, either in a coaching practice or making devices that are around wellness, that are around fitness, that are around health. People that are just making quality things, or the way that their being is so powerful and strong through their coaching and whatever they do as an offering, that it inspires all of us to be more like them, to emulate the qualities that they have. And that's really what the show is all about. So my ultimate goal, though, my ultimate vision, is to empower over 1 million lives to greater wellness through technology. I mean, that's my clear vision with the podcast.
Clear vision. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're doing it right. You're already quite on the way there. 500 downloads per episode. That's pretty damn good for a start launch. Oh my God.
Some days.
That's amazing.
I got a great start.
Of course, it's not every day, but
yeah. Exactly. So I think, but more than downloads though, I want to reach people on an emotional level. And you and I touched on emotional intelligence and how powerful that can be, emotional presence. And I found that emotional intelligence is really what separates people from like having the knowledge to then executing. There's this bridge between knowledge and execution, and emotional intelligence has been that bridge for me. And it's something that I'm continually working on and that I'm working with clients on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exciting breakthroughs that are happening here. And, a lot of what you're talking about here today, I've literally had these discussions this morning. It's almost like we already talked this morning before you even came here, and we didn't.
Yeah.
And, I posted a post on Facebook today about, taking charge of your life and just really just finding the core of who you are and just going with it. Like, I always kind of use the mentality in my head, because obviously, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm striving to be more and more, and we're going to that one level, but it's really, by the time you arrive at that level, you're at another level, kind of like you were just talking about. And I just think of like The Hobbit, and they get this huge cliff, and it's this cliff that just has just enough room for you to just get the highest speed jump and run and jump across the cliff to the other side. And that's really how I try to explain to people about entrepreneurship and creating something new is it's not an attempt to jump across. It is the jump that you do. Because if you're looking at it as a attempt or a try, you're just not going to make it across, right?
Sure.
That as
keyword, you said try.
Right.
Anytime people say, I'm going to try to lose weight, I'm going to try to be more successful, that's almost like a self-defeating prophecy.
We have the ability to do. Right. We have the ability to do. And there's the old saying Nike said is just do it. Well, I think the new one nowadays, I just did it. Right. Really. It's just do it, and not try. I'm not going to give it a go. Those are all just kind of tap out things,
Yeah.
And faith is, as an entrepreneur, comes in a whole different package. It's like, faith is like, I have no choice but to succeed. Because
how would you define faith?
I call it a supernatural word from an entrepreneurial point of view, because faith is you, like I said, you have to jump to the other side, right? And you have to be on that other side already and being there. Because if you look back, that split second that you looked back, opportunity may have passed. And that's how this world is to us. Every single thing that comes to us is opportunity. We just have to look at it in the right mind. Yeah. Right.
I resonate with that. I mean, it's almost like visualizing the goal as if it's yours already. And one of the things I went through in my training, you and I talked about some personal development work that I did.
Yeah.
And I know you're a fan of personal development.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that the course leader talked about in one of these 5-day intensives was that everyone's got it backwards. Everyone feels like in life, if you have the nice house and if you have the nice car, then you are doing a great job and then you'll be happy and successful. But it's actually opposite. Mm-hmm. So for people that are entrepreneurs or people that are grinding it out and really launching whatever it is they're doing, or just for anyone in the world, it's you be, you do, and then you have. It's the other way around. And everyone's got it backwards. Yep. So it's like, if you want to be successful, well, then be somebody who's successful, and eventually you'll do that, right? You'll do actions that are associated with success. And then at some point you'll look back and say, oh, wow, I have exactly what a successful person has, but it's because you were being and doing what a successful person does. So it's backwards.
And touching more on what I meant with faith and supernatural, I don't know if you've ever been in like a a real competition where you're going against, or you're in a real argument, or you're in a real situation, it just, your body comes alive with energy, and you show up. You're like crystal clear in that moment. Okay. That's like supernatural energy. Like you're in the moment, you're real. And usually most cases you can succeed every time in that situation. You know, it's like pulling somebody out of a burning house. You're just going to go in there and you're going to grab that person. You're not worried about anything else besides getting that person outside. Although there's going to be beams that are going to be falling, and fire and hot heat. You're not even going to feel being burnt at that moment. Right. Mm-hmm. And as people that we are in wellness and motivation, we teach this, that you try to find elevate to that. But the reality is, and I wrote this morning, is you don't want to be in that moment your entire life, because it's just an extremely high energy and something really, it's a dangerous stress. Yeah. Yeah. It's a danger. If you're jumping across a cliff every single day, you can't do that. So I think people have to learn, when you're using things like Wellness Force and motivational stuff, it's to give you that power for when you really need it. It's like that supercharge, kind of like in Iron Man, where he got out of the cave and he had one shot with that machine.
Where he grabbed the ledge, right? Or what was it?
Well, he came out and then he had all these people shooting these guns at him.
Oh,
and
that's
flames
right. I was thinking of another
movie.
movie.
He hit the thing and it just took him off, and he landed in the middle of the desert. Yeah. But he only had one chance. Yeah. Right. And that's that superpower he had to get out of there and get to the place. And if you just keep on superpower mode, then it's not real. And that's really why in our life we don't manifest so fast, because we really can't handle it. Right. We can't handle that. And
it's quite a bit of intensity it takes to produce that kind of result.
Exactly.
And that, I don't think we're wired, like we are wired for like tribal beings, parasympathetic and sympathetic stress. So in the way that we have these short bouts of intensity, we also need long durations of rest, which is why, and I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, but it's why people that are too sedentary and people that are not exercising on a regular basis, the body receives this constant drip of stress. Over and over and over again, this sympathetic nervous system activation, and it's not enough rest and digest. It's not enough playtime and things like that. So that is actually something that can hamper health and make people never even want to make the jump to be an entrepreneur, or any of the things we've talked about.
I love what you're saying.
Go towards that.
I love what you're saying. It's absolutely true. I mean, if you're going to wake up in the morning and go 50%, you might as well go back to bed, right? Because if you're not going to give it your all, then you should rest until you can give it your 100%. Sure. It's really the mentality we need. So let's talk more about what you got going on here, and how can it have some results that you've had with some of your clients and stuff like that. Can kind of get back into Josh Trent time.
Sure.
Time.
Yeah. No, this is so fun, because I am so much in creation mode lately that I really haven't had a chance to step back, and coming on your show is a great way for me to figure out, I'm actually doing a lot of great things that are yielding a great result for people. But my own case study is that a year and a half ago, I saw a movie, and it was called Personal Gold. And it was about these two Olympians, Skye and Tamara Christofferson, and they were coaches for the 2012 Olympic Games, the women's cycling team. And through quantified self technology and digital health devices and hacking their sleep and monitoring and measuring what these athletes' bodies were actually doing, their exercise, their heart rate, their sleep, their stress, things like that, it allowed them to transform their training and their behavior. And then that led them to win this silver medal. So spoiler alert, they won at the end of the movie. But what I pulled from that, though, Dennis, was that the average person can benefit from this technology just the same, if not more, because digital health apps, devices, wearables, Fitbits, things like that, they allow people to have these essentially mirrors of mindfulness that they've never had before. Right. And so myself as a coach, I've just partnered with an organization called Nudge Coach. And Nudge Coach makes a HIPAA compliant app where it gets all the data from different devices, and it allows a coach or a trainer like myself to actually see how our clients are showing up every day. Wow. How they're sleeping, how they're stepping, what their hydration levels are, how many servings of protein, how many vegetables, how many pieces of fruit they're having. And it's all, 75% of it at least, is passive. It's just collecting the data. Yep. And that's what's really powerful for a coach, because imagine if you're a coach or a trainer or even a nutritionist or a wellness professional. Now you have a way to see what your clients are doing 24/7. So it's you and your client versus the data, instead of just like coming to a trainer and getting your ass kicked twice a week. Right. I mean, that was something to where I really transferred over to digital health, not only being inspired by this movie, but knowing that for 8+ years, only like 15%, 20% of my clients would actually even see a result, because there's so many hours, Dennis, that they're not in the gym.
Yeah.
So busy moms, especially, like busy moms need more than just a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Busy moms need accountability, connection, community. And that's what these devices can produce. And that's what I'm like most excited about right now, is this beta group that I'm running. And we talk about it on the Wellness Force Radio. And I guess that's what I'm really like up to right now. That's what I'm really creating and focusing on.
And you've had great results, obviously.
Yeah. And some of the results that I've had, there's been a woman who's already lost 5 pounds in less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
I myself had a breakthrough where I found the joy of walking again. I was just totally like talking smack about walking, right? Like, oh, it's not intense enough. Like, I'm not in the gym. I'm not like grinding it out on the treadmill or sprinting. But then the psychological release that I've had from being able to walk again has been really cool. And I wouldn't have found that. I wouldn't have discovered the joy of walking again if it wasn't for the device, if it wasn't for the Fitbit that I purchased. Yeah. So it's been a really good nudge for me to get down the right direction. Yeah.
What's a good amount of, I guess, steps a day you should have? Like 10,000, or we depends on a person?
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. I mean, what's more important is your sedentary time versus your active time. So like, let's say you did a 6-mile run in the morning. I mean, you might get your 10,000 steps in an hour.
Right.
But then what do you do for the rest of the day? The other 23 hours, it's really important that people are mobile. So I like how some of the devices wake people up.
Yeah.
And the Apple Watch does that. The Garmin piece does that. The application that I have can do that. So it's like ways to get people moving more, not necessarily moving more intense.
Right.
0 or 100 doesn't work in personal development and in wellness. There's no such thing. Everybody's got to find this unique blend of the middle.
Right.
Your step count is going to be different than mine, because you might be moving around town more, and I might be, working with a client more, sedentary. So it's like,
I might be dancing here at this desk. Who knows, right?
You might be dancing in the studio.
No, but I keep, as you can see here, I keep weights right here in the studio right here that I every
oh yeah, those are heavy. You guys can't see. They're like 20 pounds. They're really big.
Yeah, but I'll use them just to keep my energy level up, and work out a little bit just to kind of keep moving, because you and I know you can get in front of this computer 10 hours easily.
You can get lost
12 hours
like Matrix.
Just, start designing and writing and being creative. It just wears you out big time. So so I take those and I grab them and I do some stretching, and I got my little piggy things somewhere around here. I squeeze my hands, because I've literally, from devoting, I'm one of those athletic people who just all or nothing. So I spent 2.5 years in front of this computer, and I wouldn't leave it for nobody. And I developed some stress in my arms, because all the stress I was taking in from time I was putting in it, because every day I was putting it, was like going negative, like over $200, just boom, boom. So oh my God, just going through money and going through time and going through stress. So I started stressing out my arms. So now I had to realize that, you can't just sit there for 12, 15 hours working. It's counterproductive.
Yeah.
So I grab my weights, I grab my stretchers, I grab my things, and I'm just healing myself by just doing the right things.
And you're touching on a good point, but what makes you do that? What makes you have the awareness to go and take the break and actually do what it is you're going to do? It's because you've practiced it and you've felt the negative effects for long enough. It's like, people, when they feel enough pain, will eventually change their behavior. I was just going to say that. Pain equals pleasure. Pain. It's like, okay, I have a wrist problem. I mean, I can relate, because I have this like elbow pain from being on the computer so much. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm not taking breaks for like 5-6 hours. Yeah. So that the same thing motivated me. But like, we've got to get to a point in wellness and the way that people are coached that pain isn't the driver.
Right.
Because pain, what do you do to motivate you when the pain goes away?
Pain has gone too far, right?
Either that, you're right. Either that, or what do you do though for motivation when the pain's gone? Yep. So then you're at this new space where what drove people to lose weight or what drove people to take more breaks was pain. But then they get to this plateau where there's no more pain anymore. And then they filter back, and then pain motivates them again when they go, and then they filter back. There's got to be a way to break this cycle. Right. And it's cultivating the habits of wellness and fitness and personal and self-love that's not based off of pain. It's based off of the joy of doing it. Yep. And the feedback that you get as a human being from just taking care of yourself and practicing self-love, which ties right back into personal development. Yeah, because there's a catch there between making yourself doing it and wanting to do it. There's two different. Now you're into personal development, and over here and you're in physical development. Mm-hmm. So how do you meet the two in the middle? Well, this alert that came off of my phone is saying, Dennis, you have to work out right now. I'm mentally exhausted. No, I don't want to. So you're kind of like fighting it mentally. And if you're not mentally there, then you can't give it enough focus, and maybe you might work out wrong because you're not focusing. So how do we find, like,
Do you understand what I'm saying there?
It's like the perception of the reminder, like not resisting something that you put in place that you know you can do anyways. Is that kind of what you're going?
Well, what I'm saying is like, all right, so we're going out with our day, and okay, I've set every 2 hours. I know I need to do jumping jacks, scream and yell, breathe heavy, and do 2 minutes of meditation. All right, that's the perfect healing tool, right? Every 3 hours, do that. I'll get a natural, smooth, athletic well-being during my day.
Sure.
Right? So instead of doing, like you said, a 6 mile run in the morning, and I do nothing the rest of the day, well, it's kind of like almost useless, right?
Yeah.
So I put this out and I plan it, and I got this watch that's doing it, my Fitbit, my phone, everything's, my house alarm's going off, and everything's just telling me, you got to do that. But you have to be mentally there as well.
Yeah.
So how do we get our minds to be mental along with physical is really where the human race is having an issue right now. Because we have the tools now that are like you're developing that are doing that. And we have the tools over here. We have the tools in personal and we have the tools in physical. How do we help our bodies understand the importance and get into the elevated mindset?
I love this conversation because essentially what you're touching on is mindfulness, right? How do we become more mindful as a species, as a human race? Never before has this space of how do we be more mindful ever even existed. I mean, in the early 1900s, most people were worried about like what they're going to do for food and where they're going to sleep. And so now we're at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're at the very top. We're at the 2 or 3 at the top. The answer to your question is through repetition and through the actual strengthening of the process. Doing the process, practicing being more mindful, practicing having the good habits, creating the habit loop. Charles Duhigg, he wrote about the power of habit, creating that new reward circuitry in the brain that constitutes a reward for the habits that serve your better wellness. That's what it's all about. There's no easy answer. The reason that the wellness industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry is because everyone is programmed by their phones and by society and by advertisements to have just a simple 2-week or 1-month process and you can get ready for your wedding. It's BS.
Right.
The only thing that's going to transform people is the cultivation of daily habits and the strengthening of mindfulness. So like when you said the reminder comes up and you're busy and whatever it is, and if you were to see that reminder as a threat and you perceive it as a stressful event, then no, there's going to be zero transformation because you haven't worked on the mental aspect of why that reminder is there in the first place. You put that there either with your coach or on your own as a reminder for you to be more mindful. So if you're not willing to look at being mindful, no device, no program, no training is ever going to help you because you have to be mindful or at least craving more mindfulness or the awareness that there's a lack of mindfulness for that transformation to even occur. So if you're getting pop-ups or if you're getting some kind of like notification and it's annoying you, then there needs to be some kind of introspection as to why you put that there in the first place.
Right. You know, you're just making me think right here. Cody dog, my dog, every single morning at the exact time I wake up, I do my thing, I take a shower, and I give her fish oil in the morning, and I take my vitamins. We take our vitamins together.
You're so healthy, man.
Yeah. But she is she's the first one at the vitamins in the morning. I would forget 30-40% of the time, but she knows. She has like a trigger in her body to know I didn't go near them. Okay. I'm not like leading her there. She just knows. Another incident is when we drive home, we get to certain corners. She is alerted by natural alerts to get excited because she knows we're coming around the corner to get in the house. I mean, it's clockwork for the dog. It's clockwork that if you come up with a treat, she's going to be appreciative and love it.
Yeah.
Do humans have that? Can we get that?
I think we do. I mean,
I guess we're just not looking to, we got a call here. 1 second. Decline.
Hold on.
Hey. But yeah,
that was cool.
A dog has it like naturally. Obviously there's no Apple Watch telling a dog to wake up, get excited. We're almost home, or wake up, get excited. The vitamins are there. She just goes over there. It's just phenomenal.
I love this point you're making because what you're touching on is actually like what wires in our brain are connected to what kind of reward. So for your dog, the fish oil is a reward. It's like she gets to have a treat. She gets to have something cool. She gets to do it with you as the owner. Yep. That's because dogs' brains are more wired. They're more hardwired for that circuitry. You know, Pavlov's dogs, he would ring the bell and then dogs would salivate because they knew they were going to get fed.
Right.
So human beings, we're the same way. But what gets in the way of that, what slices that, is all the negative self-talk and all the extra responsibility and all the extra stress and all the extra. She doesn't have that. All she cares about is making you happy, getting her fish oil, feeling good, and protecting and constituting this positive habit loop that you've reinforced by every morning she gets fish oil. Well, we could be the same way. We have the power to be the same way. But what gets in the way is our frontal cortex, our negative committee in our head, and all the different stories and beliefs that we're telling ourselves that are essentially a lie anyways, that we believe, that I believe on some days as well, because we're all human beings. We're all on this journey together. And that's essentially the fight. That's what the voices get in the way. And they get in the way of us feeling good and loving and connecting, and we could go on that tangent for like 45 minutes. But essentially that's it, man. It's why do we not be more like them? It's because we've learned through association that our voices and our distractions take precedence. We
were like them before, right? We were.
Absolutely.
As babies, we were. I can go, you're funny looking, and you go, I know, you've got a big belly. I know. Do you like it? But now it's like, oh my God, you gave me a big belly. I'm going to sue you. And oh my God, I'm ugly. And my voice is, my nose is too big, my everything. And then we're off on a tangent that's taking us down to disease and taking us down to headache and malnutrition.
You brought up this great point though. It all starts in that moment of either gratitude for the moment and enjoying the moment, or allowing the voices and the committee and all the beliefs and stories to take over. So it's the cultivation of that. It's like the mental strengthening over and over and over again, the repetitive habit.
Yep. We've practiced awareness to ourselves of all the negative stuff, not the awareness of ourselves. Because believe it or not, a lot of people turn down positive comments. You can actually say, oh my God, Trent, you look great today. Your skin looks good. You're like, yeah, but I'm still trying to lose some weight and this and that.
Yeah.
So you revert right to the negative where you don't accept the positive stuff. We don't, as society, we just think people are bullshitting us, basically. We think that they're just telling us lies to kind of just make us feel happy. But really, genuinely, people are really saying, hey, you look great. You have great posture. Oh my God, your voice has gotten better. Wow. And you're like, yeah. And then you got to slap yourself. Oh, you know what? That was a compliment.
The ability to receive is a health and wellness practice too.
Yes.
If you're not a good receiver and you're just a giver, well, it's the perfect way for you to shine light on other people and stay dark on the parts of yourself you don't want to deal with.
Yep.
So it's like, if you're not good at receiving and you're always just a giver, that's the personal edge. Like that's your wellness edge that you get to work on is actually being worthy of receiving.
Yeah.
That's what I feel about that.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I know you got to get going. We're already 10 minutes past the 20-minute mark, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
Flew by. It was 27 minutes you lasted on the mic.
Awesome, man.
You're like, give me another 20.
Oh, we can keep going. We can keep going. Yeah.
We certainly can get together for another powwow for sure.
Sure, yeah.
But
that'd be fun.
We've got Josh Trent from Wellness Force here today. This was a force of nature to finally get together, and we did it. And we had a great time today. And thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Dennis. This was great, man.
Super fun. And I'm excited to launch this into the universe and let people listen to, because we had some good conversation here today. Any last words you want to give, or any way to people find you to learn more about what you're doing? It's now your chance.
Well, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know that you and I see the world through a similar lens, not an identical lens, because we're all unique. And I guess that's what I want to leave people with. Everyone's unique.
Everyone is unique.
There's no way that a blanket or a device or a program or a protocol is ever going to work for you like it worked for someone that you know. So comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself or your results to other people, because just be open to the process, be open to receiving feedback. If you're a giver, then work on receiving. If you're a receiver, then work on giving. Like, work on the things in your life that are the most challenging, fearful, and difficult, and you will eventually find the best wellness you can.
Awesome. Can people find you at anywhere?
Yeah, go to wellnessforce.com.
That's
easy. If I said anything that made you angry or happy or whatever, and you want to just talk to me about it, it's josh@wellnessforce.com. So awesome. Also I have the Wellness Force radio podcast.
Good. And, on iTunes.
Maybe we can link that in show notes, but
absolutely.
That's a place to reach me. I'm all over the internet. Just type in Wellness Force and I'll come up.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah. Listeners, thank you for tuning in here today. We had a great time. I'm sure we will have him on the show again sooner than later. And this is it from the 5 Minute Bark here in San Diego, California.